main, we call ingredients to a long-lasting marriage, and so marriage relationship. So what we decided to do was we went into separate rooms, and I have no idea what he said. He has no idea what I said. So we came up with our own 5 top ingredients for long-lasting marriage relationship, and we want to share it with you guys. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and check out our individual ingredients to a long-lasting relationship in marriage. Hello everybody, this is our portion of the 5 ingredients to a long-lasting marriage. The 5 things that I think that really contributed to our 12 years of marriage. But number 1, of course, we know that God being the center of our marriage, that's the glue that kept this marriage together. Because without God and God being the center of it all, then there would be no marriage we're talking about today. So definitely making sure that God stays first and consistent in our marriage for direction, for help with each other is definitely one component, which is the primary foundation of why we are still here today, loving on each other and growing as the years go by. Number 2, I would definitely say accepting one another differences, trying to understand each other's differences and not criticize each other because of the differences that we have, but really, again, going to God and asking God, how do I deal with this situation with my husband? I'm trying to get an understanding. So really grabbing a hold of, it's okay to have differences and not criticize, but accept those differences and let's learn about them and let's embrace them and let's get an understanding so the differences will not come between our marriage. Number 3, I would say definitely communication. Communication is the key. We realize that throughout our marriage, we've had to really work hard in understanding the other person and how they articulate how they feel or how they articulate what they're thinking. And we have really learned in the 12 years of being married that 99.9% of the time, we're actually saying the same thing, but differently. So just making sure that in the communication that we're listening and not just trying to, find a rebuttal from what we're hearing, but definitely communicating and trying our best to hear and listen to what they're trying to say and giving them time to do that. I think communication is very important because communication can definitely hinder any relationship, any marriage, if it's not done effectively. And again, asking God to give us that clarity, asking God to give us that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of what the other person is trying to say or trying to articulate, and receiving it in love and not being offended all the time. The 4th one I would say is allowing each other to be themselves. Make sense? A lot of times we feel like we have to change somebody or someone is not really acting the way that we want them to, not trying to manipulate a situation so they can do what you want them to do, but just basically letting that person be them, knowing who they are, knowing, I think when you know the person's heart, you would know when they say and do and act a certain way, it's coming from a good place. So definitely saying, accepting the person for who they are, letting them be who they are, and loving who they are because that's who God created them to be. But at the same time, encouraging change and improvement. I won't say change, but improvement in the marriage. And as we evolve, we're able to accept each other's differences and changes because we're not the same person that we were when we got married. We're different, and respecting those evolving changes that God is really creating within us has really brought us together. And I would say number 5 would be not taking each other for granted. Spending quality time with each other, not becoming roommates, noticing each other, winking that eye, dating each other, flirting, you know what I'm saying? Not getting complacent in the marriage, but really keeping things, unpredictable, if you will. And I can tell you guys this. My husband has really been unpredictable, doing some spontaneous things lately. That I'm loving, and it's just something that keeps the spark going, romancing each other, and deciding no matter what, let's just love on each other, if you get my drift. And it's not robotic, it's not routine, it's not programmed, it's just in the spirit of the moment. So really get to the point where we're not taking each other for granted, loving each other in the moment, and keeping the excitement, not letting it get boring, but really keeping the spark in the relationship. Because a lot of times you've been in a relationship for a long time, you take each other for granted. You know they're going to be there, so you're not trying to work at it anymore. You're not trying to do anything different. It's the same old mediocrity, and it can get stale. So when we really keep ourselves together, butterpup, stop. When we really keep ourselves together, I keep myself looking nice and neat and cute, trying to be, sexy for me, also for him, and vice versa. He keeping himself looking good, smelling good, groomed. It's just, it's like wine. The older it get, the better it is in time, right? So I think I can say those are my 5 top ingredients for a long, lasting, loving relationship in a marriage.
Hello, everybody. This is Vito from The Process Life, and I just want to kind of touch in 5 areas that I believe that what has blessed our marriage to be successful. I would say the first thing is the foundation. The foundation, how it started. All right. How God connected both of us together. I would say that's the first thing, because without the proper foundation, your foundation is going to be wavered. Your foundation is going to be, it's going to have cracks in it. Your foundation is going to be built on the sand. If God has not done it, if God is the one that did not connect it, then your foundation is going to be built on sand. It's not going to be built on a solid foundation, okay? So the first thing I believe that has blessed our marriage to be successful is the foundation, how it started, how God connected both of us together, how God initiated and chose both my wife and I for each other in his own timing. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we have not forgotten that. We have not forgotten the foundation of how it was established. We are able to lean on the foundation of God is the one who connected it. And as a myth, and in the midst of us leaning on that foundation, we are able to go to God at any time, anywhere, especially when we have our challenges in our marriage. We are able to go to God and say, God, I need for you to show me how to deal with this situation. Or if it's something that, that she may not like what I've done, or something that I may have not liked what she done, or she offended me, or I've offended her. It always go back to the foundation that I believe that we are able to lean on that foundation, because without you being able to have a foundation that God connected it, you will not be able to lean on the foundation of depending on God to get everything back the way it needs to be in the marriage, especially when you kind of go through a bumpy time in your marriage, or a storm or trial in your marriage, and you both need that. The third thing, the honesty, being honest with each other, not being afraid to be truthful about how we are feeling. Along with that, I believe also is going to God and asking God when is the right timing to go to that spouse. Because sometimes we have a tendency of going to our spouse out of emotions, out of anger, especially when it's something that made us upset. It caused us to be angry. We have a tendency of instead of responding properly, we have a tendency of reacting out of our emotions. So I would say the third thing would be going to God and asking God to show you how to speak to that spouse or how to bring that thing up. Because sometimes God may be like, no, I don't want you to bring it up at all. I just want you to pray and allow me to deal with that spouse. It's all about going back to trusting in God. Okay. I would say the fourth thing would be learning how to communicate. Learning how to communicate with each other. If you can recall, I always use the blueprint as Adam and Eve being the foundation when God put two people together. Well, you need to also understand that Adam and Eve did not know each other personality wise. So they still had to learn how to coexist with each other. Because before Eve came on the scene, it was just Adam and God. And then when God put Adam to sleep, then it was Eve and God. So both of them had their time with God. So I would say the fourth thing would be learning how to communicate with each other. And in the process of you learning how to communicate with each other, then you also learn what the do's and the don'ts, when to do this, when not to do this. Also, communication keeps down a lot of confusion. Because sometimes you can assume that a person know what you mean or know what you're trying to say or know what you think. And that's impossible. It's very important for you to be open with your communication. Speaking to that spouse and letting that spouse know, hey, this is what I meant. I know I didn't say it right, but this is what I meant, and also being able to, when you're talking about communicating, don't assume that this person know what you mean, or don't assume what this person know what you're saying. Okay. I would say the fifth thing would be not being prideful, and stubborn to apologize. Apologize when you're wrong. When you are wrong, it's very important for you to go to that spouse and let that spouse know, that you apologize for what you said to them, or you apologize for what is it that you did that may have offended them. A lot of times when you don't apologize, that causes a lingering. It continues to cause tension in between the two. So it's very important for you to understand is that we had to learn how to apologize to each other, and not be afraid to apologize, not be stubborn to the point where you think that you're right and no, I'm not going to apologize because they were wrong about doing what they did. Well, there's always a cause and an effect to everything that is done in a marriage. So I believe that another key thing for our success in our marriage is because we were not afraid to apologize. Now, was it always like that? No, it wasn't. We still had to learn in the process of, hey, apology is very important. You let that person know that you're sorry about what you did or sorry about what you said. You shouldn't have said this. You shouldn't have said that. And not try to justify it, not try to make excuses of what you did. No, it's very important for you to apologize, because what that does, that helps that person. It helps that person be more. It teaches that person to be forgiving too, learning how to forgive and forgive instantly. Yes, are you still hurt about what took place? Yes, but at least you apologize from the heart, and then it's that person's duty to let that person know that they accept the apology too as well. So I would say that's another. I don't know if you want to add that on to that, but yeah, that's like number 5/5.5 or 6 or what. So those are the 5 things that I believe that has helped us be successful in our marriage. But all of that it all stems from the right foundation. And the right foundation is when you depend on God to connect you with the person who he has purposed you to be with. And not only that, when God connects you with the person, that means that he has chosen you for the marriage. And anytime that he has chosen you for marriage, it comes what comes along with that is an assignment. Assignment comes along with that you being chosen. So I would say those are the 5 things that I believe that has blessed our marriage to be successful, and that has caused us to be where we are today. Are we there? No, we're not. Do we still have some ways to go? Yes, we do. Are we better than what we was when we first started off? Yes, we are. I believe we are. Because anytime when God is in the helm of everything and God is the orchestrator of everything, I believe that as you stay in it and as you continue to dwell in it and learn, you learn to grow. You learn to be more mature. It's just like with anything. You know, when God puts his hands on something and it starts a little seed. And once that seed starts to be watered and starts to be nurtured, it starts to grow, it starts to mature, and it starts to become what it has been purposed to become. So our marriage is not perfect, but we are better than what we was when we first started. And to God be the glory with all of that. And he gets all the credit. Why? Because God is the one that started it. God is the one that has given us the ability as well as the anointing to continue to dwell in this marriage so we can continue to grow as a couple, as we continue to grow as husband and wife, as we continue to grow as brother and sister in Christ. So this is what I believe the things that what we have been successful in our marriage and why. It all goes back to the foundation and how the foundation started. Once you grab a hold to the foundation, once that foundation is initiated and is started by God, then therefore that foundation can be watered, it can be nurtured, and it can grow. All right? All right.
All right, you guys. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget, this is your process. Embrace it, trust it, love it. Be you.
Keep it moving.
And keep it moving.
Peace out.
Bye.